market research informs better advertising, right? So hypothetically, as a result of your research, you'll be able to speak and message to your consumers better. So have you done any work, or maybe you use it when you're pitching, as to sort of how to demonstrate that you'll get positive ROI from this market research? We're not just doing it to do it. We're doing it because it will yield more efficient, more effective advertising.
Yeah.
Any case studies in that area, or sort of thoughts as to that?
And I'm actually going to let Holland attack this, but before I even attack it, I just want to give an example of sort of the thinking, especially if a lot of folks don't know or don't have experience with qualitative and quantitative. And it looks like you in particular are in New York City, or at least something, right, based on your background. So what I want to ask anyone who's watching this is, how often do you just step out of your door and pick a restaurant to go to versus Googling first, right? You do your own research to Google to narrow down, to have a better idea of which neighborhood to go to, what is a good restaurant, right? All of those things. And if you don't do that step, if you don't Google, if you simply step outside your door to try and look for a restaurant, you're potentially setting yourself up for failure, right? You might end up having to walk too many blocks. You might end up having to eat at a restaurant with terrible reviews. You might eating a cuisine you don't even like. So, you know, for sort of anyone layman's, that's the beauty and the value of research. It really helps you to save time, save money, right? And narrow your focus in a way that otherwise you're sort of boiling the ocean. You don't have that filter without the research. So that's sort of my first sort of quick example for anyone that doesn't have experience. But I do think Holland will have a great answer to this as well.
Well, we've done some research actually, and it's really simply put, and it's honestly like right on the cover of our website. People are likely to spend 20% more on a brand they think is listening to them. And research is all about listening to your consumers, right? So if you want to put an ROI on that, put 20% sales increase, you know, and it's apples to apples. Like if I have this apple and I have that apple, if this brand is listening to me more, I'll pay 20% more. And, you know, it's all about resonating and making sure that you're in touch with your consumers, right? Empathy is the core of what GOODQUES does. And so that's a very simple way to put it, right? Like the answer is yes, and the ROI is high. A 20% lift is astronomical if you think about it. Have we done in-depth ROI analysis? Not as much, and that is strictly because there, you know, how do you put an ROI on your brand position, right? It's something that's such a you know, a hard metric to kind of track. But it, like Maria said, everything that you do from a brand perspective, if you do research first, you're reducing the risk of having to redo all of your work. And you can think about it in that way as well.